now listening to the 1130 podcast. Enjoy the show.
Yo, what it do? Everybody, man.
To the 1130 podcast.
Yo, what it do, everybody, man? What's going on? Y'all already know what it is. It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. I'm back at it with another episode of the podcast show. Welcome back, everyone, to the 1130 podcast. Appreciate everyone definitely tuning back in, man. Like I already know, it's not 7:30, it's 11:30, man. We here. It's another episode. I appreciate everyone definitely tuning in, man, for real. If you're new to the podcast show, man, like I said, if you're new and if you haven't done so already, I don't know what you're waiting for, man. Definitely make sure you hit the like button down below, comment, follow, share, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the 1130 podcast YouTube channel, man, and definitely hit the notification bell so you'll be notified as well. All right, man, now that's out the way, you guys, man. We gonna get into the podcast show today. That kind of rhymed there. That wasn't on purpose, but yo, we gonna get into it, man, for real. I got some phenomenal guests that's joining me here on the show, man. We got some DC vibes all day long, man, on this week's episode. Of course, you know I'm from DC, born and raised. I got my guys, man, from DC here joining the show this week, you guys, man, representing Debonnaire music, you guys. Willie and Phil coming through here on the 1130 podcast show this week. We gonna bring on a man for real. Will and Phil, what's going on? What's going on with you guys?
Going good. How you doing, bro?
I'm going well, man. Going well. I appreciate you guys taking the invite, man, coming through here on the 1130 podcast show, man, for real. Like I said before we went, before the recording started and everything like that, I was like, yeah, I always check out my guests and everything like that, and see what they're about. And I was like, yeah, most definitely, man. My guys from DC definitely gotta move them up the list, man, and put them on. So I appreciate you guys. Like I said, taking the invite. How life treating you guys?
Hey, man, we just living, bro, making music, enjoying what we do, man.
Having fun. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's cool. Gotta have fun and definitely enjoy what you do, though. All right, you guys, man, before we definitely get into everything, man, and the music and the vibes, Willie and Phil, you mind telling everybody about yourself? I know you guys are representing Debonnaire music for those who are not familiar with you guys, but you mind telling everybody, something about yourselves?
Well, like you've already announced, we are Washingtonians. The other two members of our group, our lead singer, Smooth, is from Columbia, Maryland, and Wiley J is from Cincinnati, but he's lived most of his life here in the DC area. So we all consider this home. Phil and I are the original members of the group. I don't know if it's too early to get into how we met, but I'll
yeah, that's cool. That was kind of like my next question.
We were actually both recruited by a production company separately. Okay. He was doing all the producing for this production company, and they brought me in as one of the singers, not knowing where were they going to stick me with a group or what they were going to do. And Phil and I got together to put together a little show, and things we weren't being treated right in the production company. So we just looked at each other and said, man, I'm gonna call you, man. I'm gonna call you in a week, and we're gonna put something else together. Mm-hmm. And that was 100 years ago, and we just went through a bunch of different cats to find the good mix of the sound that we were looking for. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because, and I don't want to get too organic here, but I was new to the business of music. He's been a musician his whole life, and I had this. I wanted to write, and when we got together as a writing partner, it just worked.
It just worked. Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing, and I wasn't even sure why it worked. I just learned not to ask. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to be grateful. And literally, we actually, on our first album, recorded the first 5 or 6 songs I ever wrote in my life. And so, that's a pretty good hit and miss rate for a dude who's never done it before. And I don't have a musical background. I can't play anything. He's got all the skills.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how we ended up together. And we've been doing it ever since and still doing it to this day.
Okay.
So look, check this out. The funny thing is, like when I met him, I was actually a producer and a songwriter. And once he started writing, I'm like, man, I'm not even gonna waste my time anymore. I'm just let him write everything, I'll just focus on the production, because there's a lot of times, people just kind of write and they just like, sometimes they'll write something that may not even fit the music, when the first song he ever wrote, when I listened to it, it just sounded like those lyrics and melodies were made for that music. And then ever since then, it's kind of been that way ever since. I might send him, a track, he writes to it, send it back, get feedback. And, we've been doing this, man, from the time when it was, let me drop off a cassette tape at his house to now, let me shoot him an MP3 over email,
Yeah. Okay. What was it about Will? Obviously, Will said he never asked. Obviously, it was a blessing. He's like, you look at, I ain't asked why, but what was it? What was it? What was it about Will?
I think it was I'm handsome and charming.
Look. So get a little deeper into the story. We were, both in this little production company type of deal. Shout out to Chester Reese with it used to be called Dynamic Producer. No, what's it, Dynamic Producer?
Legacy.
Dynamic Legacy. He's actually, an artist now. He does like this go-go kind of mix thing. But he was like the leader of the production company. So it was probably maybe 4 different artists. He has like a rapper, R&B group, and Willie was part of the R&B group. I brought one of the artists that I was working with at the time, girl named Sophia, amazing vocalist. But out of the guys that were in the group that Willie was in, his voice just kind of stood out because it had like this rich, raspy type of Teddy Pendergrass type of thing going on. So I'm like, I pulled him to the side. I'm like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what you're doing, but I think we need to work together. So we exchanged numbers, and then, like I said, once he got one of my tracks and then started writing to it, man, I'm like, you know what? I'm putting the pen down, and I'm just going to focus on production.
Okay. Hey, I like that. Smooth Willie, man. When did writing all begin for you? That you sort of put it all together, even though you was like, man, I don't know what I'm doing though.
It's singing and writing was always kind of inside. That was my inside voice because I was a football player, athlete. So I suppressed it. I kept it to myself, even though my dad could sing. And so I knew it was in the bloodlines. I said, okay. But you just wait for your opportunity and for someone to meet somebody that gives you that opportunity. And when we met, DLP Productions, he gave me this opportunity to go sing, and I never thought I would have that opportunity. And then when I met Phil, having the opportunity, when he asked me, say, man, do you write? Now I had a choice to make right then and there. I could have just kept it to myself and been scared and just said, nah. Or I could just say, hey, you know what? I got a bunch of ideas. And so I kind of went for it. And, that's, I say that because that's sort of how we still operate. You go for it. And if it fails, it just fails. You move on to the next idea. And, we had a unique way that we did things because we had songs written that we didn't have a group for yet. And then once we actually got to the core group members that we wanted, then we started retrofitting songs. So I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it, but that's kind of how we did it. And we went through a bunch of people before we got to the sounds that we were looking for. And not just the sounds, but the vibe. In sports, they talk about team chemistry.
Okay.
And so maybe not everybody was Luther Vandross, but when the chemistry's right and it fits, then the songs are going to come across as organic and real.
True.
And that's where we went. And then, of course, once we met Nelson, all that went out the window. It was like, oh, the boy just got straight talent. So it's like, okay, now just write anything and let him sing it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I dig that. I dig that.
Yeah.
You said you were into sports. You played, football. Was it in high school, college, collegiate?
Yes, I played Woodrow Wilson High School.
Okay. Wilson. Okay.
I guess before it gets out, let me just say I'm the son of a famous Washingtonian, Green Bay Packer great Willie Wood, Hall of Famer.
Okay.
So football was kind of our family business.
Okay.
And I was doing, business was good.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But that singing thing, that stage was calling me, and I was just like, man. And Phil gave me that opportunity, and I said, you know what? I'm not gonna keep this suppressed. I'm gonna go for it. And singing and writing for the public is one of the most vulnerable things that you can do. Is to have your words and your voice, your talent out in public, all over the world. It's like you're really exposing yourself. So it took a lot to get to this point for me.
Okay. Hey, look. I think our purpose, I think our purpose in life would, would normally show throughout our life and our journey. I know you said you play football and you said you suppressed the music thing, and obviously football, every boy sort of want to play football. And I also asked that question too. You said you went to Wilson, I went to Dunbar, so I know that was like a rivalry thing, football thing.
Well, not when I was there, but maybe your years. Dunbar changed by the time you put it this way. Dunbar, when I was in high school, was everybody's homecoming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so you don't even remember that, right? That's how long ago it was. Right.
Yeah. Dunbar was something else, man. I know they got a new one though, but I definitely dig that, man. Phil, you went to school here in DC too? McKinley Tech. Okay. All right. Shout out to McKinley Tech. We got Wilson, Dunbar in the house. Okay. I dig it. All right. Okay. You said, you guys wanted to make sure the vibe. What vibe that you guys were actually looking for? I know you guys are sort of trying to, get the RnB soul, thing going on though, but was that the vibe that you guys were actually looking for the group?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we first jumped off, there was a lot of R&B was hot. R&B was thriving. I mean, there was so many acts out there, and we sort of just tried to fit in and get in the same lane and just try to go with it. We had subtle differences about ourselves and try to be a little eclectic, where we added a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit harder, crisper composition, but for the most part back then, we just trying to fit in with this big world. It was huge. Now because R&B has changed so much, it's funny. I feel like what we do is kind of unique. That we don't call it old school, we call it retro R&B.
Okay.
So it's reminiscent to the Jodeci and the stuff like that. It's going to remind you of that. And because Phil is a musician, it has a live instrumentation feel to it. So you may even say, oh, a little mint condition going on to it. So we have now become the unique ones, when before we were kind of just like everybody else and we were trying to find our lane. Yeah. And now we're different. We're kind of like, oh, nobody's really doing live band, and another thing that's unique about us is, especially doing local shows, we don't play any go-go. It's probably a detriment to our pockets here in the DC area, but we're R&B group, so.
Yeah. Okay. Phil, what was it, or what is it basically? What is it about R&B that sort of, I want to say, lost its touch though? Because like how you mentioned, well, man, like I grew up, man. My mom used to play Casey and Jodeci, all these, great R&B songs, to where it's like nowadays it's like the R&B ain't R&B no more though. Like, I kind of like had this conversation with another gentleman, but I think that is one thing. Although not playing go-go, obviously go-go is like DC soundtrack. You gotta have some go-go though. But for you guys to just be straight up unique and just be yourself, I think that'll get you guys further, far, at what you guys doing, and just try to just fit in and just be like, okay, and just appeal to the masses or whatever though. But what is it about R&B in a way? Is it because I heard one people, somebody, one gentleman I was talking about who was like, people don't want to hear nobody talk about love anymore, so what really is it with R&B? Because man, R&B was it, to be honest with you.
Was it? Man, that's a loaded question, man. I think the industry has made listeners lazy. A lot of times, it's like what's hot, and then like, especially like as a producer, people come to you like, hey man, this is what's hot now. Can you give me one of those? As opposed to when R&B was at its peak, it's because you had good writers, you had good producers, and you had good artists. And the industry, man, the industry will sadly, it's the music industry, but they will kill the music in the music industry. They start bringing in like some of these like hip hop producers. No shade to them, but a lot of them aren't musicians. You have these laptop producers where they can sit down and click, 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 and they can create some amazing music, but it's something's missing, And then from a songwriter standpoint, but then again, there is good R&B out there if you want to go find it. It's no longer mainstream. It's kind of sadly R&B has become more like an underground thing, because I probably couldn't name any, but there's some amazing R&B artists that are making like good soulful, I guess contemporary R&B. But it's just like when you have these big machines behind all of these industry plants, that they're calling artists, it's hard for good talent. So say if a Boyz II Men or Jodeci came out today, is anybody going to really check for them? Because the with all of the social media and the TikTok and everything is so quick. Even now, a good song is only 2 minutes. Back in the day, a song would be, the intro would be 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have like an orchestra playing, you have this big lead up, you have all of these dynamic things going on in the music, and now it's like it's almost like microwaved music, But I mean, you have some people that are just true to R&B. Yeah, and just it's you just got to keep going, doing whatever you do. If you find your lane and it's working for you, stick to it. The industry is going to do what it's going to do.
Yeah.
So it's just that's the good part about being an independent artist. You can do what you love, keep doing what you're doing. You're writing music. Yes, you got to kind of write for your audience, but at the same time, you're writing from your heart.
Right.
And then you'll connect. Your audience will find you. That's how, with us, when we dropped our first project overseas, you would have thought we were like, superstars, man. People from we got radio stations in Germany. We listen to the radio station. We don't know what they say, but it's they say whatever debonair music, blah blah blah. We South Africa, Quebec. We did a live show to the UK. We did a live stream to UK a couple of years ago, man. So in the US, it's just hard to have that same level of respect for R&B, because it's like, you a lot of times, if you're doing get most of your music on the streaming service, you get what you're going to get. But you're driving down the street in your car and you just listen to your local stations, you're going to hear the same 10 songs every hour.
Yeah.
And then that's what a lot of people are consuming their music. And it's almost like you get, numb to what you're listening to, and it just gets this repetitive stuff, and that's all you hear.
And it's not easy to do traditional R&B. I mean, if you're a singer and you want something traditional and you got to bring in 3 or 4 musicians to the studio, you actually got to work. You actually got to coordinate. As opposed to just one dude programming everything. We cheat because we got a cat here who can do 3 or 4 different instruments. But, I always laugh when I hear people say that Mint Condition is underground R&B. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? They should be headlining every concert that's out there because they are, they're craftsmen. They're our generation's Earth, Wind, and Fire. And it's like, but they don't get that same kind of love, and to hear them, being considered underground is like, ooh, that's spooky.
Yeah, I dig it, man. A lot of R&B music, man. A lot of us, I can attest to a lot of people, I know of, man. We was born to R&B music, man. Mama put on R&B music, and you just started vibing to it. I feel like you, in a way, we have to like keep it alive because, like how you said, man, streaming, you go to streaming and most of it, or even on just the radio, sometimes, you just hearing them same 5-10 songs. You turn it in 96.3. I saw a video the other day, man. My fiance be talking about it, man. You turn on the radio, you hear like the same 5 little songs every hour in a row, and it's like, well, damn, like shit, want to hear something else though. But most of it just, either whether it's hip hop or whatever, that R&B, soul music where it touched your soul, whether it, was meaningful, man. I feel like it's just, gone out the door, and we gotta definitely bring that back. And another thing, man, I feel like that it also went away too, because I see debonair music where it's four of you, right?
Yes.
Right, getting that understand. Okay, yeah, because you don't really see that as well a lot too. Where it is, like a group or anything like that, where it is, 4 or 5, 3 members or so like that, and it's just like every, you just see, single artists here and there, and I think that is, actually unique, to where it's like, yo, man, I remember growing up watching, famous, music groups that, was doing their thing. And I think, we definitely don't see that no more though, but we definitely gotta bring R&B music back. I agree. Another thing too, where you was like the music business, have a way of killing music in itself though, because man, because R&B music in a way was something to, when you turned on a music show. I remember back in the day with 106 in Park. I'm maybe kind of showing my age a little bit, but where music videos were a thing, and a lot of the videos, whether it was top 10 or whatever, you had a lot of R&B songs though. And I just think in the times that we live in now, where we're so divided, and everything is, I'm gonna shoot you up, this, that. We don't have that much love no more. And I think, with you got media, whether it's social media, whether it's television, whether it's music, whatever type of media, really control all of us, in a way that we might not understand, to whether it's television, controlling to whatever you see, or, music, to things that you hear. And it's like, relationships and marriages and certain things, where And the way in the time back then was lasting more longer. You know, it was more love in the family because you know we had love there instead of, you know, I feel like once you take that and remove that with a lot of garbage, then I definitely
Yeah.
feel like
Well, I'm a songwriter,
mm,
so I'm betting. I'm placing a bet that as long as us and folks are going through something, there always needs to be music that helps us go through something.
yeah.
And you know, hip hop really doesn't cover that. When you really going through something, when your girl treated you
Yeah, I was just
wrong or
about to
did you
say
wrong or you came up short,
yeah.
you know, there's not a lot of hip hop songs that cover that, but I
Yeah.
got some songs that cover that. You know,
Yeah.
that as long I think as there's a human condition, I think that there'll be room for what I do.
Yeah.
And
I
I don't necessarily write about my personal experience, but I am human, so I write about things that I know about or things that I see or hear about, and then you know you kind of combine it with some things that I've went through, and then you know hopefully it comes out with something that's melodic because it has to be entertaining. But
mm,
you just always hope that that one little line that it'll touch something in somebody and be like, "Ooh, I understand what he's saying."
mm. Nah, yeah, I think that's the best music, you know, with that real organic music, you know, like you just mentioned. Hip hop songs more so nowadays, you know, if you went through something or you got your heart broke, it's like, oh, F that shorty, F that hoe, she a hoe, all of that, you know, like that. And when you went through something back in the days, like how you mentioned,
Right,
man, you
right,
cried your heart out. You know, you cried that heart out for them 7 minutes on that tracks back in the days. You feel me?
right. And
You
then you know,
knew he damn, like he's heartbroken. He
Yeah, he
really
felt
loved
that.
her.
right,
You know.
and then my trade craft has always been, and I've told Phil this all the time, is I want to use innuendos. And for
Mm,
any of your younger listeners, look that word up. But instead of just telling the woman what you gonna do, you say it in puzzles or innuendos, and let her figure out. Oh, that's what he meant. You know,
mm,
just saying I'm gonna knock it down and I'm killing it. Now we're
yeah,
not doing all that. We're not
yeah,
doing all that. You know, I'm gonna make you feel warm inside, and then you know people understand what that means. You know, they get it. You know, feel my temptation rise. Yeah, yeah. I think everybody gets it, but you don't have to say it, and that's the
yeah.
art. That's the creative side of saying it without saying it. And
Mm-hmm.
R&B will always be better when it's done that way.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
agree. I definitely agree. Definitely. All right, you know, we talking about music, man, and of course, we from DC and we got some DC vibes, though. How do you guys feel about, or basically are trying to show that, you know, you guys, your music is, you know, out there, and you know, people should definitely be checking it out because we don't have too many, excuse me, we don't have too many guys who are from DC, and whether we do, we don't really get that or see a lot of people get that recognition, you know, and get put on from the city. You got some guys who, you know, I know Wale. I think I don't know if he's actually from DC or whatever though. But you know, that's probably it. I mean, from what I know. I mean, of course, you got actors or anything like that, but you know, you don't really see too many musicians in DC get, you know, that recognition that they should. And do you guys feel like DC have a lot of, you know, hidden talent, hidden musicians such as yourself, like them in their music, you know, that need to be put on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just real quick, you know, Phil came up in true DC music. Him and Chucky Thompson played go-go together, so
Okay.
you know, he grew up in the culture of the go-go and the matching go-go with the R&B sound and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So, you know, we're never that. We're from DC. You can't be too far from it. My perspective is from. I can answer this question from my perspective, which, as kind of the pseudo manager of this group trying to book shows and put shows together, I get a lot of offers for us to come and do you do any go-go? And can you do, you know, we need a 4-hour show. So no, we're an R&B group. We can do 70 minutes.
Mhm.
But, you know, we just, there might be a small tinkling of go-go mixed in there, but it's not even a full song. It's 8 bars if that. You know, we're R&B. We're not going to do something that's not us.
Right.
Gotcha.
There's so many. You know, this city is rare because there are a lot of talented musicians, singers, a lot. But the music scene itself kind of caters to party music, dancing and stuff. And, you know, club owners want people in there all night long drinking and dancing and hot and, you know, ordering more liquor. So I'm not mad at them, but there's not a lot of venues for us. And then the ones that we did have access to close up. You know, it's expensive to run a club in downtown DC. So there's not a lot of venues. So what ends up happening is we have to throw kind of our own little mini concerts or get together with 1 or 2 other artists and put together, you know, micro shows or something like that. But then, you know that back in the day, like Minneapolis did with Prince and all those bands, you know, that's never going to be DC. And the groups that really do the best here on a weekly basis financially, or you know, and we're a small area, is going to be the hybrid go-go bands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like it's challenging for people from the city, such as, you know, like you guys, you know, are, you know, do R&B and everything like that, and of course, you know, DC music scene is really, you know, go-go and everything like that, because if you're not from DC and everybody tell you anything about DC, the first thing they're gonna tell you about some go-go and everything like that.
Right.
So do you guys think it may be challenging, or do you guys find it challenging at times, you know, like you just said, you know, can you perform here? Do you do go-go? But no, you do R&B. Yeah, do you guys, you know, find that challenging at some point? And also, do you guys, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys like go-go, but you just don't do go-go perform it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's just not our thing musically.
I mean, back in the day, I played in go-go bands. That's how, like Willie was saying, that's pretty much how I got my start in music, just playing with go-go bands. And a lot of the artists, like even, you know, some of the artists that I've worked with, they don't really even get gigs unless, like, if they're a singer, they won't get gigs unless they're singing with a go-go band, just to kind of keep their chops up, you know. Young lady that we're working with named K. Nikki, she actually just released a single last week. You know, other than working with us, doing shows with us, she's working with like maybe 2 or 3 other producers. But if she wants to get out on stage, other than a go-go band, she's really not getting any work. You know, and that's it's kind of been like that, you know, pretty much forever in DC. You know, you kind of have to know where to go. Now, there's some amazing bands in DC, you know, musicians. And then, you know, you got guys that kind of like float around band to band to band. You know, you may go see one guy, you know, one club playing with one band on Friday, go to another club Saturday with another band, you know, just to stay busy. You know,
And they're outstanding.
yeah.
Yeah,
And,
they're
you know, and then,
outstanding.
you know, you get those lounges where, you know, you may have like a you know, a vocalist just singing to track tapes or something like that. All of those gigs are definitely available. But, you know, if you want to go somewhere and you want to have an audience of you know, a couple hundred people, it's go-go. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, go-go is you know, that's the theme of the city. You know, give people what they want, and if go-go is what they want, give them what they want. But at the same time, you know, there's still, you know, places where you want to go listen to some jazz, listen to some R&B. You know, I mean, there's a rock scene in DC. You know what I'm saying?
Major
You know,
one, yes.
you know, so there's always a lot of music, but no matter where you go, whatever the music is for that city, you know, you go to Chicago, it's house music. You know, you go to New York, now they got that Jersey sound. You know, you go down south, you know, trap is going to be what it is. You in DC, it's going to be go-go. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, like you were talking about as far as like artists or whatever music coming out of the city, one of the like biggest hits in the past, like say 20 years, came from a producer from DC. Rich Harrison, you know, he produced that A. Marie One Thing. You know, he
Okay.
produced Beyonce's what was that, Crazy in Love. You know, Rich was a little, you know, I met Rich, you know, right before, you know, he got his you know, his first placement. You know, Rich was he was an amazing musician, but he didn't know how to produce.
Okay.
So you know, when we actually got together, got in the studio. I had an MPC at the time. MPC is a drum machine. If anybody don't know what an MPC is, and showed Rich how to use, and next thing you know, he took off. You know, so you know, there's always talent, and there are guys that are getting, you know, producers that are getting placements like all over the world. You know, you may not know that from DC. You may hear music and like, oh, that's nice. It could be some producer or musician from DC, man.
I get you. I get you. I get you. Do you guys have a favorite go-go band?
I'm old school, man.
That's
I still listen to Chuck.
R.E.,
I still
baby.
listen to Chuck, bro. Yeah, I listen to
Yeah.
Elvis. I
Chuck,
listen to
yeah.
Chuck. You know, it was funny, man. One of my neighbors, this is old school go-go. He used to rap with a group called Air Raid way back in the day. And when he told me his name, I was like, I was almost like starstruck because I used to listen to him back in the day. And went back and listened to some of the old go-go, because that's a good thing about technology now with like YouTube. You can go back and find all of that old stuff. You know, people used to make PA tapes from like high school dances and proms and stuff like that. And yeah, go-go, man. I will always love go-go, you know. But as far as like my favorite, I'm Chuck always, you know, because Chuck was like a musician.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
playing jazz, but it always had that go-go, you know, that foundation to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chuck
I mean, I
Berry.
like, you know, I'm good friends with Sweet Cherie, so Belladonna is automatic favorite, and then also when she played with Chuck, so you know the old school go-go is preferable. R.E. and Chuck Brown, yes sir.
So man,
Yeah.
Backyard, of course.
Yeah.
You know, this dude that when me and Willie met, one of the guys that we were producing for was he used to be part of the Huckabucks back in the day.
Okay.
That's way before Dre's time. He's like the who, the what?
Yeah, because you know, I was about to say my oldest sister, man, she used to go to a lot of go-go's. Remember, you know, she used to sneak out and go
Oh,
to
she's
go-go's.
gonna love this interview. When she sees this interview, she's gonna be like, ooh.
Yeah, she used to, man, go-go's were her thing, man, when she used to go out with her friends. And I'm a 90s baby, so go-go, I definitely remember Chuck, you know, you know, Chuck Brown. Obviously, you know, you gonna definitely know about Chuck and, you know, the Backyard Band, and whether it was TCB, TOB, CCB, you know, like, yeah, a bunch of those, you know, that I remember. And I was just like, damn, you know, listening to the radio, you know, now and then, of course you'll hear some old school go-go, but I was like, man, you don't even hear go-go music all like that neither though. But yeah, I don't even think of new who that band used to.
Huckabucks.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Northeast Groovers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's before your time, bro.
Yeah, Air Raid was the shit. Yeah, Air Raid was the shit. Yeah. But you know, we're fortunate because, like I said earlier, I don't think R&B's ever going to go away. There's always going to be space for R&B. You know, the tough part is just trying to find venues that are willing to facilitate it. And I mean, we've done a lot of, you know, been booked at a lot of jazz places, Carlisle Room, Blues Alley, even at once. But there's not a lot of R&B lounges like in some other cities, and so you know, I've been forced to have to make our own path.
Okay.
And when the gigs aren't coming in, I said, well, it's time for us to make our own gig. And it's a lot of work, and the singing becomes secondary until show night. But you know, it's a lot more fun because we get to do it the way we want, and we can have, you know, the sequence of the show can go the way we want, and we're not kind of beholden to a club owner. And you know, we can pay our band, and you know, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's ways to get it done. it's just, the club owners here are all about making money. And if you can get 200-300 people lined up outside to come in to see a go-go band, what would you do? And that's 4 or 5 hours a night. That's a long. I don't know, Dre, how much you sing, but if you ever sit there and try to sing for 2 hours, I'm gonna drop dead.
Yeah,
I'm gonna drop dead. Yeah, so you just gotta see wherever you can fit in, get in where you fit in. For younger artists who are trying to do this, find your lane and stick to it. If we tried to become a go-go band or a go-go singing group, people would see right through us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not us.
Not organic. Yeah, it's not.
Phil could probably get away with it.
Yeah.
But they're gonna look at me and be like, "Nah, bro, come on, man, come on, man."
Nah, I definitely get it. Nah,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine singing for 2 hours though. Nah, let alone probably I be doing live streams and watch alongs though.
Well, there's so much more to it than I think people. The lights are hot.
Yes.
The shiny outfits that I got on are hot. I got to remember all these lyrics and cues and
yeah.
There's a lot more to it. Then you got on top of that, you got to be sexy. You got to be sexy because there's always a handful of women that are at the show just because they want to see good looking men. So you got to be sexy on top of all that. So it's it's not hard, but we do it for fun. There's nothing wrong with doing what you love, no matter how old you get or how long you've been doing it. If you love it, keep going. That's why we keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we got new stuff that we getting ready to drop. We got stuff that are still in the can that we haven't even started working or finishing yet because we're having a good time. And as long as we're having a good time, we're not gonna stop.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people, they get lost at, just having a good time,
Right, they need to hear that. Yeah, that somebody tells, you're a little bit too old to be doing that. Not if you're enjoying it. We can't do the young stuff because it looks weird. But, our audience is, I would say 25 to 65. And you'd be surprised how much the youngsters want to actually hear live band with R&B melodies and harmonies and stuff like that. It just never gets old.
Right, you're right about that, man.
Yeah.
You're definitely right. Before we dive into some of you guys' latest music, man, what definitely keeps you guys inspired and motivated, man? In life and even with the music.
Ooh, well, just let me go first. Just what I just said. It's so much fun. We decided years and years and years ago that we weren't going to let the usual things divide this group. Money splits, fame and fortune, which there hasn't been any, but it's okay. I am the best, most famous singer in my neighborhood, so it's all good. So we just decided that, hey, we're gonna do this our way. We're gonna do what we want to do, and I think we decided we were gonna be independent way before independent music was a thing. Yeah. And so what's keeping us going is, again, it's the fun. It's the fun. Yeah. It's the fun. We always say that we may not be pros, but we're not amateurs, and we don't treat this as amateur hour. When we release our music, we release it worldwide, and every time we release something, the intent is for it to go supernova, whatever the highest level it is, and we put our artistry into it.
Right.
Okay. The only difference is if it doesn't go supernova, we don't end up on the street or homeless. We've got that home life balance, and we haven't quit our jobs yet. But it's serious, but we treat it as what do you call it? A professional hobby? Is that what
it's a professional hobby?
Professional hobby.
Yeah.
And I've sent you our stuff. Our first single was with a Grammy Award winning singer, Regina Bell. All right, that's not playtime.
Yeah.
You know, that's real.
Yeah.
A Whole New World from Aladdin. Yeah, no, she's the real deal. And so we did that. So that shows people, you know, that's why we use that as our first singles, because we had to show people that, you know, we're not playing.
Mm.
You know, we're not, you know, we may not be a household name yet, but, you know, this is real music and we're serious about this thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Gotta put out some definitely some really good music though. I was wanted to add on one thing. You got to do what you love to do. Like I said, man, if you in a business like such as, you know, entertainment and music, man, everybody gets so caught up in, of course, the fame, the women and the cars and everything else, man, and just forget to enjoy every moment of it, because before you look up, it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you know, you realize time done, you know, pass you by, and you know, so you definitely gotta enjoy definitely what you guys do, man. It's a
Yeah.
signature question I like asking my guests here on the podcast show. What inspires you guys? So I appreciate that. Before we move along, you guys, to our next segment here on the show, we're gonna do a new segment where I kind of like shine the spotlight. Obviously, it's Black History Month, and I seen a video the other day. You guys are fathers, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. It's kind of like link everything together in a way. I seen a video the other day, and a guy was talking about him. I'm not too sure if he's from DC or not, though, but he was talking about Marion Barry. You know, for those who don't, you know Marion Barry, he was a former, I think he 3 times he was a mayor here in DC, and of course did so much for the youth, whether summer programs or whatever like that. You know, summer jobs, you know, to keep, you know, the kids and the young adults, man, off the streets and everything like that. And a lot of people, you know, regardless of his personal, you know, things that he did, you know, in life or whatever like that. A lot of people, you know, black, you know, people. I'm just gonna say that from, you know, from where I'm at. A lot of people, you know, looked up, you know, to him, you know, and as far as, you know, men and stuff like that, to actually, you know, do stuff, you know, get stuff done and everything. And as far as, you know, I know me growing up, I didn't have, you know, my dad in my life, and a lot of guys from the city, they didn't. So, you know, a guy like that you look up to, who look like you, and giving, you know, opportunities and stuff like that. How did you guys, you know, sort of feel about that? Basically, you know, of course, shining the spotlight on Mary Berry, but also the importance of having a father figure, you know, in your life, you know, to actually show you, you know, the journey, and the, you know, being a role model also.
Right. Yeah. I mean, me personally, you know, we got to see Marion Barry, you know, from the good, the bad, the ugly, and you know, the man, he took care of the city. You know, from the Ward 8, you know, he started where the you know, most underprivileged people were, took care of them. You know, especially like times like, say for instance, say if there was a big blizzard. You know, he made sure to take care of those folks, because they really had to. You know, those are the people that keep the city running. You
Right.
know, um, but and as far as like a father figure, man, it's always good to have one. You know what I'm saying? You know, my dad thankfully was there. You know, he passed away 5 years ago, and you know, he was that father to other people. You know, for
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, cats in the neighborhood that, you know, maybe their fathers weren't around, maybe the fathers may have passed, you know, at young ages. Fathers may have been incarcerated or locked up. You know, my father was that guy, you know, that would help, you know, kids in the neighborhood, you know, go out to the playground. My dad was there trying to help him out, and thankfully, you know, that kind of, you know, instilled that in me. So now, you know, if I see, you know, little young kids, you know, maybe out in the street doing stuff they ain't supposed to be doing, you know, I get a little bit of that, you know, that I got
Yeah.
from my dad, like, you know, kicks in, like, hey man, you know, try to keep, you know, keep them in line, man, because, you know, the society's gonna eat them up, you know,
Right.
and
Yes.
just having a great, you know, male role model, you know, it doesn't even have to be, you know, biological, you know what I'm saying, you know, just somebody that will give you that nurturing that you need, that you know, guidance that you need, you know, so definitely, and I'm sure Marion Barry was probably a good dad too.
I actually coached his son at Wilson, so
Okay.
shout out to Chris Barry. Yeah, so you know, his life and my life are similar. Fortunately, my father did not have some of the ups and downs, but he came from nothing and ended up in the NFL Hall of Fame. And I watched this man when I was a teenager be so humble. And we stop at stoplights, and homeless dudes would come up to the car and recognize him. And he would stop traffic to sit there and talk to these guys. And so that taught me at an early age, said, man, everybody's the same. Everybody deserves your time and effort because everybody is important to somebody. And so I've carried that with me. And, I almost never tell anybody no. The people who want to talk to me about my dad, the people who want to talk to me about music, hey, I can take the time out because I saw that. And you learn, it's learned behavior. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Do you guys have any role models or any heroes that you guys consider of?
He's my hero.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my hero. Yeah.
He's dude's got jokes. Oh man, role models, heroes.
Wow. To go outside of my house, it would just be, guys that I see that are trying to, first and foremost, be good citizens. They start there and they work their way backwards. Be a good citizen first. I want to be a good person. And then, everything else hopefully will fall in line. So I don't know that I could say any outside of my father and my brother, anybody outside of my house, but it's a lot of coaches that I've had. I've taken pieces of what they do, and again, I was joking, but when you see your colleagues and your teammates and your group members being good fathers, it just sometimes it checks you and it reminds you of what you could be doing better or what you may have made a mistake on. So, that's it for me. I don't.
Okay.
It's probably not anybody on TV or anything.
No Pacific, not anyone Pacific. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, actually, the first episode back. And I only asked that question, because a lot of us black, brothers tend to grow up, with just our mom or our grandmother or our auntie, raising us and stuff like that, and we sort of miss that connection. And like how you said, a couple of coaches, who were some role models, and a lot of guys who go to school and who be in sports programs or whatever like that. Sometimes them be the only role model or father figures in their life, that they don't have that at home to be like, I'm proud of you, son, or I'm glad you did this, or you're doing a good job, or anything like that. That's all, that's to them, that's everything, so it's like, I think we are missing, the young generation, possibly, a lot though, but I think it's missing, that male role models in their life to just guide them, because like Phil just said, man, society will definitely, especially a young black man, a young black boy, who don't really have that structure or that guidance, the world outside here in DC or wherever you at definitely will eat you up and spit you out. So, I just thought it,
because society is not their friend.
No.
And specifically, young black boys need to see black men doing the right thing. They need to see examples of doing the right thing, because like I said, society is not, they're not supporting you. They don't have your back. And so when you can find a male role model, somebody who's doing it the right way, living the right way, I think it's hugely important. Yeah.
It's very important, because it's almost, because if not taking that important, it's almost like a crabs in a bucket mentality. Like once you see another black man doing well, and you got this young, teenager, young boy, it's like, man, man, guess what? I want to be like him. And even if you don't want to be like him, at least you want to be half the person. Maybe you think
you want to try.
You want to try to be, like that. So I think that we totally missing that aspect of life, of role models and stuff like that. So
it gives young kids, it gives them like a visual option. You know what I'm saying? It's like, some kids, they might grow up and all they know is what's in their little surrounding
environment.
What's in their environment. But then it's like, they might run into a cat like Willie or me or whatever in any kind of circumstances, whether it's being a coach or just off the street, and they're like, oh, that's something different than what I know. You know what I'm saying? I have another option other than whatever I'm seeing around me, because it was kind of like that when I was growing up, man. It was just a bunch of dudes standing around the corner talking about what they did while they were standing around the corner, and once I started doing music, man, I just stopped. I cut all of that stuff off, and go back to the neighborhood. Some of them cats are still in the neighborhood doing what they were doing back then, because they didn't see any other options. You know what I'm saying?
And then you also have to remember that you don't know this, you don't think nobody's watching, but people are watching. And so when we started on this journey, when we restarted our journey musically, and we started to get a little bit of attention, mostly overseas, we laughed at each other because we had to check ourselves on our Facebook. All of a sudden your opinions now got to be cool because there's people from all walks of life that are now becoming your fans. And you don't want to even accidentally offend anybody. So, we just made a conscious effort. Now you got to be yourself, but so you know what? I'm going to keep my opinions to myself because ultimately, I hate to be harsh, but don't nobody care, what I think about politics and stuff like that. So we had to really sit back and be like, oh my God, we got these kids. I'm getting emails from somebody in Brazil. And so are you really Willie from Debonnaire BC? Like, what? Am I being punked? So it kind of happened quicker than we were ready for.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that we became famous, but we became known.
Yeah.
And you really forget that, what? People are watching. And they're either waiting to see what amazing things you're going to do, or they're waiting for you to fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
Now it's up to you to decide which one you're going to do.
True about that.
Yeah.
Definitely true about that.
A lot of people put that in a song. That was kind of strong right there.
Yeah. A lot of people are definitely, waiting, watching. They're definitely watching, especially nowadays. You're definitely watching, waiting for to see what's next. If you're gonna fall off a cliff, or maybe if you're gonna stand on there for a little longer though. But I think it's really important because once they see that male role model, they won't be like, oh well, I'm the only one who, gotta have it. No other brother can, or, just that, like I just mentioned, that crab in the bucket mentality though. So I thought that was, real important, man. Cause, we all gotta at least be, a role model to somebody, whoever it is, whether they know it or not, just, to help the next, or something like that. So I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. All right, you guys, man, we're gonna keep the show rolling on before we head on out of here, man. It's time for the 1130 podcast hot seat, you guys.
Alrighty.
That
was scary, man. What was that?
All right, Willie and Phil. I got 5 questions. Both of you guys can answer the question one. It really don't matter, but I got 5 questions for you here on the hot seat, and we're gonna roll with it. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. All right. $10 billion, or 10 minutes with Jesus.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
$10 billion
or 10 minutes.
10 minutes with Jesus. In person or in spirit?
Yeah, see, because I'm Hey, look. Hey, Dre, I'm about to mess you up. See, because I'm already with Jesus, so I'll take the money. I'm already with Jesus.
Right, that's what
You know what? You know what? I'm so glad you asked that question, right? Because
Hey.
I heard this question and it was like the responses were so hilarious. I said, man, I gotta ask this question because it was like, yo, man, 10 minutes with Jesus. Man, look at, I talk to him every day. You know, I'm about to talk to him right now.
Right,
you know,
right,
he gonna
right.
understand. You know,
And I'm just gonna
But,
assume
yeah.
that my Jesus wants me to have that money. So I'm already with Jesus. I'm gonna take the money.
I dig it. I dig it. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. If you can go back, if you can go back to the youth, if you can give back to the youth, how would you do it?
Give back.
Yeah. How would you basically? Yeah. If you can give back to the youth, how would you?
Woo. Make them listen. Shake them in front of Jesus while I'm with Jesus, and just make them listen. You know, the hardest thing that it's been for me, you know, like you said, do we have kids? The hardest thing I've had to do with my kids is to make them understand that what they're going through ain't new. You know, I've done that, been there, done that. And so you try to get them to understand the things that you didn't understand when you were their age. And so getting them to listen is, wow, that would be the greatest gift ever. Yeah, so my knowledge and wisdom, stories of my failures is the best thing that I could give.
Okay. Phil, same thing.
Get back to the youth. Knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, knowledge and experience. You know, it's one of those things. You know, if I knew back then what I know now, you know.
Yeah,
I would make different decisions.
Being stupid ain't free.
Give them that knowledge. Give them that knowledge now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. Being stupid ain't free. I'm gonna use that.
No, you go ahead and keep that, expensive. Man. That's my gift to you. No.
He said that's expensive. I like it. Okay, if you could collaborate with a music artist, past, present, or future, who would it be?
Prince. That's not even that's.
Hey, you want to think about it?
I don't need to.
Prince.
Prince is why I'm a musician today. And if I had a chance to work with him, that would be it. That would be it.
Ooh, y'all both gonna laugh, but
I got an idea. But go ahead. Go ahead. I know what you're gonna say.
I would like to be a member of the old school Earth, Wind & Fire. You know, with the old bodysuits and stuff like that. Not the current dudes, not them old dudes, but the ones from the '70s. I want a bodysuit with an afro, and I would like to be a part.
Lord.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell your listeners, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Earth, Wind & Fire 1970.
Okay, all right. Yes, I do know about them bodysuits.
Lord, yes.
Woo. Man, I know they had been sweating their asses off on that one, man.
With the platform shoes, the bell bottoms,
and 2.5 hour concerts,
and then the afro too. I don't think that made it any better though. All right. Which DC Metro station has the longest escalator?
Willie Park.
Willie Park?
Is it Willie Park?
No, DuPont Circle, right? DuPont Circle, I think.
It's either Willie Park. It's definitely in Northwest. It's definitely in Northwest.
Wheaton.
Has the tallest?
Yeah, the longest escalator.
Oh,
feel like it's gonna take about 2-3 days to get up all the way.
I call foul because that's not in DC.
Oh, okay. Right. You're right. Okay, you got it. All right. Yeah. I think it is Adams Morgan. DuPont.
It's in Northwest. It's definitely
it's either
Northwest.
DuPont or Woodley Park. Yeah. If you DC proper, okay.
I don't ride the train no more, man, because I got claustrophobia and people be smelling on the train. I ain't got time.
Yeah, man, take a shower, man. You know you gonna be on the train, man. Take a shower.
How you smell at 8:00 in the morning, man?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I
too
remember
early.
those days catching the train, man, just riding and people just getting on, holding up with their arms on the rails and just knowing they stink. If you know you stink, you should just put your arms down and just lean against the rail.
Man,
Try to
you
hold
should be-
on to
You
something.
should be hugging yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Keep
Never
that-
once have you ever asked yourself, did I take a shower today? You know you didn't. You know you didn't. Right.
Okay. Last question. What part of DC has the best curry out? Southeast, northeast, northwest, or southwest?
There are no good carryouts in Southwest, so
It's
they
gotta
can
be
eliminate
I
that.
think that is true.
It's
That's
got to be
very true.
northeast. Northeast?
Northeast is probably the biggest quadrant of the city. So I'm gonna go with Northeast.
Yeah, I'm gonna say northeast.
I'm gonna go with Northeast.
Yeah.
Northeast. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if
The less
Northwest
healthier, the better.
Northwest has been so gentrified, so it's kind of hard to find
Right.
a
There's
good.
no carryouts. They're
carryout
coffee
in
shops. You know.
Yeah.
okay.
Smoothie shops.
Right.
Yes.
And we're
yeah.
not with you unless you're an R&B fan. We ain't messing with you.
Yeah. You go up northwest, man. They look totally different than what it usually look, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
are
it's
you talking about like the traditional carryout with the mumbo sauce?
Yes,
Mama-
yes,
Mama
yes.
Son, Mama
yeah,
Son.
Mama
Yeah,
with
it's
fried
northeast.
four wings
Okay.
with mumbo sauce, man.
With salt, pepper,
Yeah.
ketchup.
It was
Yeah.
salt and pepper ketchup. Actually, I just had some earlier too.
Nice.
Yeah, see, I'm a little bit too old for that because I'll be up all night. I can't even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, the one I kind of like see is the best curry. I don't know. It's, you either get an Eddie Lennox around sometimes, or a Yums, or I think my fiance. I don't know which one she just said. I don't know, but what's coming to mind is like a Jury's or something like that. But yeah, I think it's the one in northeast though. Got the best chicken and mumbo sauce for real though.
I think you just named 2 out of the 3 you named are in Northeast.
Yeah, definitely. You can run into an Eddie Lennox and be like, okay.
You said Jerry's. I'm thinking Sammy's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's in Northeast too.
Okay. Cool, man. Some DC vibes. All right, before we wrap it up, man, Willie and Phil, of course, I appreciate you guys coming through here on the 1130 podcast show, chopping it up and having fun, man. Your latest music, tell everybody where they can catch your latest music streaming on all streaming platforms, wherever you get your music at, and where they can, maybe get a copy or whatever.
Yeah. So you can actually, if you really want to support us, if you go to bandcamp.com/debonaire music, you can purchase the music directly from us. Bypass the streaming services. But if you just want to vibe, we're on all streaming platforms. With Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, all of the streaming platforms, man.
Or you can just come by Phil's house and
Or you can just come
he'll
by,
play it.
yeah.
He'll play it for you.
Right. Or
right.
maybe produce a track for yourself.
What?
Okay.
So what's the name of the next track that's coming to our new song that's coming out? Slowly. Okay.
Slowly.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Little would you say it's a mid-tempo vibe? Yeah, it's real dramatic, it's real sexy.
It sounds sexy.
Yeah. Like I told you earlier, it's in your windows. Slowly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we've been working on it for a while, and it's one of those things where when I wrote it, it was sort of kind of a throwaway song, or you thought of it just like as a filler. And then the more we worked on it, it was like, man, this joint is okay. This might be something. And so, yeah, we've taken our time and made sure that we stirred the pot real good. So
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like, I'll create, send it to Willie, he'll throw his thing on there, send it back to me, and then what he did may inspire something from me. And I'll do that, boom, 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 send it back to him. So we're sending stuff back and forth, man. And by the time it's finished, it probably doesn't sound anything like the original. We just kind of like built on it. It's like, if you're cooking, people always talk about you cook with layers.
Yeah.
You layer the flavors, and that's kind of where this song kind of ended up.
Yeah.
Even because it really didn't have some of the drama that it has now originally. It just we just kind of feed off of each other. And add a little bit, salt, pepper, garlic powder, the whole paprika.
Okay. And we didn't want to get too far in the weeds, but that's become our formula. So I'll snatch a track from him. He'll compose something. I'll snatch it from him. And it was, it starts off as an idea, and then I'll come up with this vocal idea that goes with it. Once he hears the idea that I came up with, it re-inspires him musically. And then he'll send it back to me, and then I'll be like, oh, that's different than what I was thinking. And so, there's a bunch of different things that it goes through before it's finally, all right, let's go. So that's what this song has done, and it's hot.
Okay.
It's hot.
All right. I dig it. I definitely dig it.
Yeah, it's time for it to blow up in the U.S. We're ready for that. Those 5 a.m. interviews in the UK live.
Now, I dig you, though. I think one last thing before we go, though. I do notice. I think us here in America, man, I think we get so complacent, with so much, we got so much going on, whether it's social media and everything. We get so complacent and just, I think we are not as appreciative of certain stuff, wherever it's, I'm going to speak from, because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a big wrestling fan. And when, of course, wrestling, is in the United States, you see the crowds. It's, okay, cool. Some of them may be mid, some of them may be cool. You'll get a hype crowd here and there. But then when they go internationally, whether it's the UK, whether it's Germany or whatever like that, those fans over there are more appreciative to see you and everything and hear from you than, crowds here, though. But hey, look at it. I have no doubt that you guys definitely gonna blow up here, of course, in America as well, though. But I just thought I'd say that, though. Some of us, are less appreciative, or that, though.
No, we're still okay with it blowing up in overseas, though. It's okay.
Of course.
Once it blows up somewhere, they just have a different vibe over there. When you listen to a radio show, we'll be on the same show right behind the Temptations. Then they'll play us, and they'll play Chris Brown. And it's like, what? Those things don't even go together. You would never do that here. Everything is kind of genre specific, and there it's like, no, it's all soul music. It's all soul music. So it's we love it.
I dig it. I love it too. All the links, everyone, will definitely be down below, you guys, so you can go follow Debonnaire Music, my guy Willie Phil, the whole group, you guys, and make sure you definitely stream or listen, get a copy of their latest music. Before we go, any questions, any shout outs, anything you would like to say?
Nah, just to the 1130 family. Man, if you do go to our links, man, leave a message. Tell us where you found us. To let us know that you heard us on 1130, and Phil will come to your house and actually taste your macaroni and cheese. And he'll do that for you. But leave a message, man. Let us know where you heard about us, and we are the approachable celebrities. We'll talk. We'll have conversation with you. We love it.
Okay, I dig it.
And we appreciate you having us on, man. This is your platform is really cool.
I appreciate
really cool.
that.
Yeah,
Definitely. Nah, man, we need somebody. We need like a correspondent or something like that, an agent or something like that, man. Especially around the holidays time, to try somebody mac and cheese. Don't just be trying to throw the mac and cheese together. Just your first time. Nah.
Right. And stop lying. Stop lying, telling people that you know how to make it too. Stop lying.
Exactly.
Right.
That don't dry. It ain't cheesy at all.
Is that cheese water? What is that? Oh my God.
Yeah. Come on. Don't set people up like that. It's about to be Christmas and all that. Like, come on, don't do that. All right, look here. Once again, Debonnaire Music, Willie, Phil, I appreciate you guys coming through here on the show, on the 1130 podcast show. Really awesome having you guys on. I wish the best for you guys. Keep doing what you guys doing on your guys' journey and success. For everybody who's tuning in and watching and listening, man, don't move. We're going to come right back in a minute, man. We're going to wrap up the show. We got the WTF moment and more. You're listening and you're watching to the 1130 podcast.
Coming from the 70s, go-go is a mixture of funk and Latin American percussion.
Go-go was our indigenous music and pretty much had the heart of any kid who grew up in DC. You got Godfather Go-Go Chuck Brown, you got Rare Essence, Trouble Funk.
It's a thing that's really hard to describe to someone. So it's a thing you just have to experience.
Having this live visceral experience with the band, it's like only in DC.
Yo, we back here on the 1130 podcast show. Appreciate everyone tuning in, man. Sticking with me throughout the short break. What a show. What a show, man. Really been a great show. Debonnaire music, Willie and Phil, right here from Washington, D.C., D.C. natives. Yo, man, real cool, man. Conversation, real cool chat. I'm glad you guys took the invite and came through here on the 1130 podcast. Maybe next time we can get the whole Debonnaire music and just vibe out, man. But yeah, DC vibes all the way, man. Stand up. But yeah, I appreciate it. The links are down below, you guys, man. Definitely check out the latest music, everything, man. Everything they got going on, man. But you guys, like I said before the break, we gonna wrap it on up. But before we do, you guys, man, yo, WTF moment. Yeah. It's time, you guys, for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yo, you know what? It's so strange too, because before we were recording too, me and the guys were talking, man, Willie and Phil. And you know, here in DC, man, if you don't like the Commanders, pretty much you like the Cowboys, right? You like Dallas, right? You know, and you know, got half of the family, they like Dallas. You know, the other half, they like Commanders. You know, growing up, man, I liked the Redskins. They was called the Washington Redskins at the time. I liked the Commanders or the Redskins, but I was just like, I wasn't that big enough football fan. And then they always lost, but I definitely wasn't the Cowboys, though. For real, definitely ain't the Cowboys, though. But I bring that all up, man. And speaking of Dallas and the Cowboys, though, right? Yo, man, it seemed like a lot of these football players, sometimes music artists, but definitely these athletes, man. These athletes, man, they get all this money, man, and they get rich, and they just, man, they go, you know, and you know what? To whatever preference you want to do, man, it's all good, man. Whatever preference, whoever you want to date, that's all great. But my thing is, man, like I mentioned Dallas though, right? All right, Dak Prescott, he's the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, man. And him and his girl, you know, decided, you know what, man, it's over with. You know, before we get married and everything like that, because my man Dak was like, yo, man, you gotta sign a prenup. Shorty was like, hold up, wait a minute, I'm not signing no prenup, man. And I'm just saying though, like, man, look here, WTF in a way, because it's like, yo, despite what I've done on the football field, and also like you're a mom, you're at home, you're taking care of kids. I know that's a 24/7 job, like one of the hardest jobs in the world, you know, like, yes, I know you at home, but I don't think you're deserving of all of my money. Probably not even half. You ain't gonna be broke. I was just telling Bae that, like, you ain't gonna be broke, but I don't think you deserve half of my money though. Like, you know, like if I was a music artist, Willie or Phil, you know, like, man, you know, platinum record artist, and then you got this girl who, you know, yeah, we fall for it and everything like that, but then all of a sudden she don't want to sign a prenup. She thinks she gonna come in here and just take everything I work for though and just leave me a bum out on the street though. Nah, cause you got a lot of these women, man. That's what they do, especially like them Caucasians. You know, them white girls, boy. I'm telling you, man. Like they got like motherfucking like they got that vision. I can't even think of it. They got the infrared vision, and they just peep out, and it was like, okay, all right, bet, yeah, all right, him right there, yeah. I think I can see something with him. Try to take some of his money, whatever the case is, though. But I think it's WTF, man. Find you a woman, man, that you love, man. Find someone that, you know, y'all is more than materialistic type shit. And, you know, just find someone you got a good connection with. You know, I think a lot of the, man, if you got someone, and before you come in the music game, I think it's 10 times better, because she know what you've been through. She been in the ups and downs and all that stuff like that. Rather than, you know, you getting in the music industry and you famous and everybody love you, and then all of a sudden you got Becky over here just wanna, try try to basically take ownership of everything that you have done over the last. Well, look here, Jamal, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me, pal. You know, yeah, WTF, man, though. WTF, man. I heard that shit the other day. I was just like, hey, well, her loss, right? Her loss. But you guys, man, yo, I ain't gonna keep rambling on here, yo. What a WTF moment, man. Of course, we got more amazing guests, man, coming through here on the 1130 podcast show. But I want to shout out my guests one last time, Willie and Phil from Debonnaire Music right here in DC. DC natives, man. I appreciate you guys for coming through here on the 1130 podcast show, you guys, man. Yo, Beyond 1130 is back for everybody, man. Want to have some grown folk conversation, some real talk, man. You know, man, yo, Thursdays live on Instagram live, YouTube live, Facebook live, man. Definitely tune in 8 p.m. The game. Myself, Brian B. Harley, and Charnel. Definitely make sure you tune in to that, man. But you guys, man, I ain't gonna waste no more time. It's been a wonderful episode, been a wonderful day. I hope everybody been enjoying the weather. I know here in DC for the last couple of days it's been nice though, but you know, back to feeling like winter a little bit though. But we on the way to spring, man. We on the way to spring. I was about to say we spring forward. They lost that hour already though. I can't stand that, man. I like when they get dark a little later. Don't get me dark around 5 o'clock, boy. Like 4:50. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, you guys, man. I'm about to head on out of here, you guys. Until the next episode, you guys. It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Stay safe, stay blessed. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? Yo, until next time. Y'all already know what it is, man. Hit my theme music.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. No with me, yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 1130 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. He the one, nigga. So let's get it, baby. He the one with me, so yeah. Breeze, baby. Let's get it. You with me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Will, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there?